Let's talk about my romantic notion of the future. So, I don't know if this is reality or not, but this is why I'm building the van now. So, I figure as things devolve, basically, no one's going to have jobs, no one's going to have money, and no one's going to have places to live because of all of the shit that has happened. So, I want the van to be able to live out of and have enough manufacturing capability in it to make some shit and sell it on the side of the road. I don't know what else we'll do, but like, I think that's the future for me. I uh, I don't know. I don't think Ghost Rider, my van, is going to last forever, and I don't think it's really up for a life of wandering forever. At least not in its current state. So I have to do something about that. But in reality, I don't really want to drive around a lot. I kind of want to find someplace I want to be and like buy 2 acres of land and have a shack. And the tax on the van and 2 acres of land and the shack is probably less than $100. And that's where I'd like to get, is to where that's my only bills. Start working from there on building a solar array to power an air conditioner and figuring out some sort of thing to heat the place with that's not a wood stove, maybe. Although I think a wood stove has a lot of fucking benefits, so that's my vision of the future. Though, is this is basically like, I don't know, 1850 something, and I'm just gonna go build a shack someplace and have a ranch. I don't know what all we're gonna do on my ranch, but I'm hoping basically to get Starlink and be able to do this anywhere, right? And once I can do that, I'll figure out some sort of a way to sell the shit that I make on Etsy or whatever, maybe. And like that, I have a pile of stuff that I've kind of made that, like, I don't know. I should probably list some shit for sale. I need to do that eventually. I kind of want to finish some stuff and do sets, and I don't know. But yeah, I think this essentially because I don't ever want to use technology again that tracks who I am or where I am or any of that bullshit. Other than maybe this phone and whatever phone replaces it. I'm going to keep one thing that is like, you know, what I fucking interact with pretty much. I might have a laptop or something. I debate on what level of technology to get off the fucking like boat at, right? Because like in reality, they're already tracking all of my shit. They can already kill our cars. Like, I'd like whatever car that I have that replaces Ghost Rider to be something that I probably build myself. Or maybe buy a very old something. I don't know what the right route to go on that shit is. I got the cheapest, oldest thing I could get. And it's still got a computer brain in it, which is probably not good. Like, I need, you know, I need something that, like, what was it the Blues Brothers said? It was made before catalytic converters, so it runs good on regular gas or whatever. I need something like that old. Something where you might have to, like, add additives into your fuel again to accommodate the fact that it's not leaded. I think this mostly because of the big tech shit. Like, I had an app on my phone for Whataburger. I did that because they said you get a free Whataburger. I deleted the app before I took the free Whataburger because, according to Apple, it was tracking my location 13 times over 24 hours. This is the shit where I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to do any of this modern bullshit anymore. I'm going to have DVDs and fucking a PlayStation or some shit and, smoke a shitload of weed in some small fucking cabin somewhere watching YouTube and talking shit on my channel. This is my plan for the future. And there might be some times in there where we're on the road and whatever, and those will be the days of high adventure in our fucking pirate ship. But my plan at this point is, like I've been saying for the last several months, is basically just to never do anything again. I'm not going to contribute or participate in the government or society as a whole. I am going to suck whatever I can off of it and fucking use it and whatever I can making my own shit to forge a new life for myself that I can I don't know. I'll like me again, I think. Half of this is I would be sitting outside right now if I wasn't talking to you guys and if I wasn't in the middle of a city. And a lot of my issues are, everybody's like, oh, well, you should do X, Y, or Z. You should go for walks. Well, I would walk all the fucking time if I was out in somewhere where there's something to look at other than the fucking hooker getting stabbed to death in the fucking darkness in between the fucking horrible fucking spotlight streetlights. Maybe that's just me. I don't really care to fucking do much in Tulsa. And I should be better than that, or what? I should go and do things somewhere. But I really don't have any money right now. And the money I do have, I'm using towards fucking building preps and shit. So, I don't know. You guys and watching YouTube with the cat and smoking is where I spend my recreation money. And, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that for forever. I like smoking. But, I don't think it's necessarily something that you should do as much as I do it. It is fun, though. For the meantime, with the fucking lymph node shit going on, this legitimately fucking makes my life considerably better. So, fuck y'all. I'm gonna keep fucking smoking. Anywho, once, we've built to the point where we have the van and the land and a shack to live in, I don't know what I'll do from there, but my goal is to have at least 2 to 5 acres of land. I'd prefer more than that, but I don't want to have too much. And that's, I don't want to pay taxes on it. I don't want to take care of it. In reality, I need probably 5 acres. And the thing I would do with 5 acres is build a blacksmith shop with a pistol range. And have, probably a decent sized greenhouse. And then a big pen for goats or sheep or whatever. And then have the rest of the land just be some woods. My woods might end up being a hedgerow around my whole shit or something. I don't know. I'd like to get a property that backed up to some woods of some sort that was national forest maybe or something. I think this is the way to go, though. Like, I'm rigging all of my shit to just live as cheap as fuck for the rest of time. And I'm gonna have a greenhouse and garden shit and have probably sheep or goats or something. I don't know. I go back and forth. Sheep or goats are light and small, and I can handle them on my own, as opposed to cattle. And yeah, there's lots of benefits, but the sheep, especially, you can get wool and whatever. Like, I don't know if I'm really all into that, and that's a lot of care, and that's where goats might be better. I don't know. Never had goat meat. Bet it tastes pretty fucking good over an open fire, though. That's what I've found in life, is that most things are pretty good roasted over an open fire. And I kind of figure that if I have some sort of thing backed up to woods, I'm just going to go walking every day and have me black powder revolver. And, if I see deer or some shit, we'll go hunting. And, like, we'll have licenses and whatever and do all of that too. But, like, I don't know. I'd probably be of the philosophy that I'd buy a hunting license and buy a couple tags, and then everything I killed, I'd just fucking, like, bring back home. Fuck them. Keep hunting. Because that's the thing in Oklahoma is, like, if you go in and, turn in your tag and all of that, then they catch you out there, then you don't have a tag again. And they only will sell you so many tags. So if you're going to go poach or whatever, go ahead and get the tag. And just keep hunting. And this is some shit where, like, Robin Hood, like, if you're hunting to feed yourself, fuck their laws. I'd like to be somewhere where I could potentially do that. And, like, this is where, ideally, I think Alaska would probably be it. It just has, better wild game for that kind of thing or whatever. And it'd be cool to live in Alaska. And I really like snow. I think it would be an adventure. Cost-wise, everything is cheaper staying somewhere probably in Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. Somewhere where nobody wants to fucking be. And I like the laws in Oklahoma, so I'd probably stay somewhere in Oklahoma. And, like, this is where you'd be like, oh, well, the laws in X aren't so bad. Yeah, but, like, they are worse. I want no laws, preferably, and, like, I don't know. Oklahoma, especially on motor vehicles, is very lax. And I intend to keep my fucking minivan running for as long as I can, and then build something to replace it, or maybe find another cheap something. I don't know. I would really like to build a fucking vehicle that's made to endure the future or whatever. Build like a box van that is, I don't know, like a really fuel efficient engine. I don't know where I'd want my top speed at. But, like, you could get a 4-banger and just make it as fuel efficient as possible and just live with whatever it is. Could go electric, and, like, that would be dope, but I'd have to figure out how to power that. But I'm kind of planning on building a pretty big solar array, so it would be cool to have a little solar car just to tootle around in. But that's where you'd probably still have to have a real gas-powered car, too, to actually drive. And that's the shit where, like, if Ghost Rider's still riding in 10 or 20 years, that'll be its role. I really think that car's probably going to keep driving for a really long time. Like, I don't know, when I shift the transmission on it, it kind of makes weird noises and shit. And, like, I don't know that that's not normal. I never paid attention before. But it sounds like stuff is going in and out of gear. I don't know. I wish I had someone in my life that actually knew shit about cars. I kind of think like one of the things that I'm going to do out in the woods more than anything is draw shit. I'm just going to keep drawing and painting, and I don't know where I'm going to sell those eventually, but like if you people that like this shit would buy my drawings, that'd be cool. I think some of them are pretty dope. Forget where my fucking book is. Let's go look. Whoop. Half of my thing is I don't really want to fucking sell drawings. Like, you guys get to see the lovely stain on the ceiling. I don't know. I think the style of the pen drawings are really cool. I would love to eventually just make money off of art. That's sort of like the goal of Patreon, right? I did this one. I think it's cool. It's all Spartan-y. Yeah, but I can pretty much do that anywhere. And this is, you know, I'm figuring out a future for myself that doesn't rely on anything, really. I would really like to figure out a way to collect fucking money for this that doesn't involve Venmo or Cash App or whatever, PayPal. Because it seems like they just cut me the fuck off. And I might set up an LLC or something that has a bank account and get a new PayPal account and run it all through that. I've been looking into such things, and it's possible. And like, this is, I don't know. I really hate these fuckers, and I really just don't want to fucking play on the internet anymore. But yet, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, the internet's all you got left. That's kind of where I've been for the last fucking 12 years or more, maybe more. I got my first iPhone in 2007 or 8. I don't remember. It was like the first or second year they ever had iPhones. And ever since then, my whole life has been online. As such, it disturbs me that like the internet is being taken over by like literal Nazis. Like the people at like Google and Facebook and the World Economic Forum and the Democrats, those are all fucking Nazis. It's my opinion. So like, I'm trying to future-proof myself, and this is a lot of the stuff that I'm getting ready to make videos on is going to be how to future-proof your entertainment and income. And I'm going to do entertainment first, and then I'm probably going to do income. Because, like, honestly, I'm still figuring out income. I'm not the one to ask about that shit. Entertainment, though, like, I've pretty much figured out the cheapest, best, like, power to weight ratio on a lot of shit. And a lot of it is living slightly in the past. So, like, I'm using DVDs and portable DVD players and, you know, a laptop with a DVD drive and a Sony PlayStation Portable, which I actually got in the mail the same day I made the video on that shit. But check this bitch out. This is what I have for gaming in the van for now. My next purchase might be an Xbox, just to have until I'm out mobile or whatever. But beyond that, I'd like to get a Steam Deck. But I think I'm going to wait for the Steam Deck's technology and price to improve. But yeah, like, all of this shit goes together. Like, my plan for fucking guns is, ideally you have all the guns, right? But like these are my fallbacks. And I have them as the fallbacks because 45 auto is relatively cheap and I could hand load it. And the black powder revolver is like you can shoot it forever and it's also relatively cheap to shoot. Beyond that, I have a 22 that I probably would never sell, and like I'm gonna get my little survival shotgun back. You know, I'm not buying a whole bunch of like 308s. I have a couple 5.56 rifles and a stash of 5.56 for it. I think I'm probably gonna make that a weapons cache. I've got a 9mm PDW that is probably gonna become kind of my like go-to thing to have around. This is, you know, at least where my head is at. Is like, I don't know, I might stash one 5.56 rifle and keep one out because 5.56 is relatively economical and it does hit harder. And like you could use that as a hunting rifle too for whenever you can get away with that, which I'm not gonna go into that. But everything in my life I'm trying to rig to a point to where it does not cost me money. If anything, I am now, you know, freed up to do things that generate money. You know, this is kind of everything. And at the same time, reducing technology back to a point to where they don't own you. Like, having a fucking giant DVD collection seems crazy until you go look at the price of Blu-rays. Like, I'm not saying you couldn't do Blu-rays, but like everything becomes more expensive. You know, the players become more expensive, the laptop becomes more expensive, the discs become more expensive. So, it's do you want to deal with that or not? I think Blu-ray is a perfectly legitimate format. And if you're going to go with Blu-ray, you might get a PlayStation too. You know, because well, I guess the Xbox does Blu-ray. Or does the Xbox even have discs anymore? I don't know. This is where I'm not the person to ask about technology, really, but I am the person to ask about this part of technology. The like, okay, so what are we going to take from this horrible system? Like, my choice is disc-based media of whatever kind. And, you know, the electronics that aren't computers, basically. Like, the solar generators, those are dope. The portable DVD players, those are dope. You know, and, like, you might consider the PSP and my laptop to be, like, computers or whatever. They sort of are, but they aren't tied into everything. Like, my fucking laptop, I can just turn the Wi-Fi off. It's old enough. It's from, like, 2013. Like, I don't know. The PSP is truly just, you know, removed from their entire system. That's why I like it. I want to figure out what I'm going to augment that with, but I think the answer really is the Steam Deck, but it's not the Steam Deck today. It's the Steam Deck in 2 or 3 years. But then you're going to have the issue of, you know, buying games and shit again, and like that costs money. And like, do you really need the newest, latest, whatever, or are you happy playing fucking Galaga and Lego Indiana Jones? In which case, having this thing and a fucking Xbox covers all the bases that I want. That may be where I get off the technological tree gaming-wise. I'm at least going to buy those systems while they're cheap. I have other shit to buy at the moment other than an Xbox. But I think a Xbox One S or whatever it is probably the next gaming thing I'm going to purchase. Although I really don't like that the Xbox is so reliant on the internet. At least the last one I had seemed to be. And this is where, like, whether or not I have Starlink would determine whether or not I keep an Xbox, I guess. Whether or not I need to waste money on one. This is where I'm not wasting money on anything that I'm not going to be able to use on the road. I kind of figure there's some things that, like my TVs and whatever here, I will find a way to store those and, you know, probably just have some sort of a fucking like pod storage thing on my land where I'm keeping that kind of shit until I have a cabin built. As such, like the Xbox could live with that shit. I would kind of like to get a desktop computer, and this is where, like, hey, maybe you should get a gaming computer. Maybe. I could build, like, a really budget gaming PC, but I don't know anything about that. And this is where, like, I don't know. I need to do another gaming video and reach out for people. I'll put gaming in the title of this. I'm not really that big of a gamer, but it is cool to fucking play Galaga again. And, like, I think it would be much nicer to play Galaga on a big Xbox than it is this little handheld. But listen to the noises. Now we're just playing Galaga. Anywho. Yeah, but that's rigging everything for the future. I think that's how y'all should be. I think that's how everyone should be. Like, stop participating in this fucking, like, giant system of doom. And, like, I'm not completely walking away. I'm going to have an Amazon Fire TV. And I'm going to have, you know, a laptop that might work. I wish that I hadn't fucking sacrificed my laptop to God or whatever it was I did. It's destroyed and buried in the backyard now. I have my old MacBook still, but like the reason that I did that was because I started realizing that it was like tracking my every movement, and like it unsettled me. Everything about that damn thing, I didn't like it. And you know, looking back now, I'm going to have to buy another one or something very similar because I need some sort of portal to interact with the world. But for now, my MacBook does that. And honestly, I think I can get it like refurbed and software upgraded, and that may be the route that I go. Because like basically I need a typewriter that I can do web calls on, and it can pretty much do that. And like I want that separate from my gaming shit. And like the people that don't understand that, in my experience, whatever you game on eventually has some sort of issues or whatever. If it's not a console, the consoles are made to game on, so they don't have those fucking issues. Whereas, like, your computer that you do work and business on, you might need to fucking work no matter what. And that's where the Apple thing works for me, is like, that computer I spent $200 on in, 2015? No, before that. 2014, maybe. Somewhere in there. And, best money I ever spent. You should watch Amazon's used section for Apple products. That's how I found that thing. It's a Spanish language keyboard MacBook Pro. And for $200, it does me very well. I'm going to figure out how to like put some overlay over the keyboard, but in reality, it's not that big of a change. And I don't type that much. But I do want to type. Like, I want to start writing, and this is where, like, I might need a computer with a real keyboard and or a sticker for that one, or both. This is the stuff that I'm thinking about and doing all the time now because, like, watch the news. Go watch Glenn Beck at all. Like, I am one of those people that, like, I am transgender and I don't really care for some of what Glenn Beck says. However, I am conservative and I have been watching Glenn Beck since 2007 or 8, and he has been right about everything at every step of the way. And like many of the things that he started talking about 10 years ago or more is shit we're dealing with now. So I'm very much paying attention to what he has to say now. And what he has to say now is fucking doom and gloom mostly. He and Alex Jones are in a lot more similar camps than they used to be. And that's, I think I used to kind of like make fun of some of this shit that is now evident that it is true. It disturbs me how much of it could be true. Like, what if the whole animal-human hybrids on Mars thing is true? If I find out that's true, I'm just gonna give up. That's like I don't know. Alex Jones has been right way too much in the last fucking 5 or 6 years. And, I've been talking about being neo-Amish or whatever. Like, I think that's what this is. This is, I'm preaching against technology while also being a technology junkie. So, like, what do we want to keep, basically? And, like, my answer is, if it doesn't use the internet, it's fair game. If it does use the internet, try to limit what you do with it. So, like, my typewriter laptop, that makes sense. Having an Xbox connected with Live that, maybe is in the same room as the typewriter laptop, that makes sense. But those might be the only two things other than the Amazon Fire TV that I have that do that at all. And you know what? That Amazon Fire TV, it might be in that same room too. And like, if you live in a one-room shack in the middle of nowhere, like, my plan is to have like a, bunker, smokehouse, hangout area kind of a thing. That's where all of the shit that I'm describing lives. And, my buddy Blazer and I have our own cabins. And, each of them is relatively, technological free or whatever. Like, there's probably something in it. But it's like, it's a place to sleep. And maybe it has a DVD player. But, like, we've made a fucking, like, hub of shit that is, like, this is where the internet stuff goes down. And, like, when you enter the smokehouse that you're entering a fucking, like, the CIA hears everything in there. Really, I don't care about. I don't think they target me. But, like, I kind of do this show for those of you that might be doing shit. And those of you that might be doing shit, you should definitely be going anti-technology. That the more technology that you use, the easier it will be to find you. I don't even have a reason to run and hide, really, but I'm going to the Highland Way because, like, I don't trust these people. I think we're headed for something really bad. And, having a greenhouse and some goats isn't my idea of fun necessarily. However, it would be nice to be able to feed myself. I don't know, maybe I should get something other than goats. I think I'll definitely have fish and chickens, because, like, I want to, like, either buy a property that has a pond or dig a pond. Maybe just dig one, because I'll have Blazer and we'll have shovels, and I'll throw a shovel at him and be like, "Yo, boy, sling that spade." He would not do that. Blazer's not a fan of shoveling. If he's listening, he's just like freaking the fuck out. I don't care about fucking digging holes. That's my thing is I've dug quite a bit in my life, and I'd like to dig a pond. And once you dig it, and the soil probably won't be right to hold water. I don't know how you figure that out. And maybe line it with something. And stock it with, crappie and bass, maybe. Maybe some catfish. Catfish would probably be the way to go because you get a lot of meat and, probably have catfish and other stuff, though. Maybe both. I would want to dig a pretty good sized pond and make it pretty deep. Anyway, have that and have it like chicken house and chickens and like set your stuff up like small time farming kind of shit. Like do the same thing with the farm stuff that I'm doing with the technology, where like take the shit that you want, take the chickens, take the goats, do a stocked fish pond. Don't mess with the stuff that's like cattle. Like just go buy beef. And like the goat thing, you don't even necessarily need to do that. You could just do chickens and a stocked pond and you'd be plenty fine. Okay, like personally, I think having some goats or sheep might be fun. And like I want some variety, and I intend to eat mostly what I'm fucking growing. So if that's not you, maybe if you're gonna go buy more stuff, you could scale this appropriately, though. The cool thing to me is if you do the fish pond right, you just always have food back there. And the greenhouse, assuming that you put in the work to do that, same thing. Chickens and goats take care, so those are the ones you might not do. The greenhouse, I want to build my greenhouse to where like it has sprinklers and shit in it, and it has a timer and it just waters shit automatically. It's like a terrarium. That's kind of what I'm gonna build, like a big ass terrarium. But part of my thing with all of this stuff described is if you can get 2 to 5 acres of land and have a car to sleep in, you can do all of this shit. It's not crazy rocket science or whatever. Like, I don't know. It seems like I'm a ways off from being able to do a lot of the videos that I want to do. I'm trying to convince Blazer to come here in a couple of months and spend like a week or two, and we're gonna like car camp in my backyard and shop and modify my van with all the stuff that I bought for it and like build it out and whatever. And like he likes modifying stuff, and we'd have a lot of fun. I think film the whole thing and post it here maybe, or on a new channel maybe, I don't know which. This is half of my thing, though, is if we're going to go through a lot of effort like that, I might put it on its own new channel where it could get AdSense. And this is where, like, I think I'm going to get a corporate thing. Like, I'm going to form a corporation and use it to do everything from here on out. Banking-wise and payment-wise for the new YouTube thing and whatever, like... I'm just going to completely redo all of that and have a new fucking identity. Try it again. Maybe AdSense won't ban me. I don't know. This is where I'd like to just have Patreon fucking be the sole thing doing this, but I don't think it's ever going to be a big thing. And this channel's kind of limited anyway. And honestly, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Most people don't like me. I kind of figure that, like, this is the channel for where most people don't like you either. So. Well, thanks for listening to my ramblings about my plans for the future. I hope they help inform you about what you're going to do. I don't see a reason to continue to use these people's technology and to involve yourself in their society and affairs. It seems that they are going to control everyone until they fucking implode. So, free yourselves now. Go buy a PSP and a DVD player. I'll see you later.